Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the TNG Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in this particular video, we're going to be covering more obviously about branding, but more specifically, I want to share with you 3 ways to turn your values into a brand that people actually believe in. Now, there's so many ways to do this, and obviously I'm going to be talking about your brand power of 3. However, there's more to it, and we're actually going to be touching base on the idea of brand loyalty specifically. Now, before we get stuck into this particular video, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel and stick around to the very end, because as always, that's something I want to make sure that you start taking action with, because I'm not all about just giving you this beautiful information. No, I'm all about making sure, more specifically, that you take action with it, because none of this means anything if action doesn't happen. So with that in mind, let's get stuck into it. So I talked about the idea of, we're going to be addressing brand loyalty here, and more specifically when it comes to these 3 ways to turn your values into a brand that people believe in. You're going to understand, specifically with the idea of brand loyalty in mind, these key things that I'm about to share with you will help you to make sure that you stay on track with keeping consistent with how you're actually showing up. Now, I've probably given a couple of things away already, but don't worry, we're going to go into it and we're going to just take it just that one step further. So with that in mind, get your pens and papers at the ready, because I'm going to start. So let's get into it. So the first thing you want to really address, especially when it comes to your values and how you're showing up with your brand, so that people can really believe in your brand, is understanding, are you walking the walk? And what I mean by walk the walk or walking the walk, I'm talking about, what did you do? What was your experience? Because if you're not sharing your experience, if you're not showing your proof or even the reassurance level, remember I talked about it in my previous video, if you're not showing that level of reassurance, people won't understand how you specifically can help them. And more importantly, they won't understand how you actually get them. If you haven't experienced yourself, well then why should they pay attention? Why should they listen? And that actually brings me nicely onto the next point that you want to make sure you're doing, which is actually connecting. Now, I talked about connection being the ripple effect, or the ripple that runs through the foundation as to what your brand is about, aside from your brand power of 3. Connection is really what helps to drive home the message of what you're about. Now, with connection in mind, especially when it comes to brand loyalty, when you are able to connect with your audience, meaning really resonate with what they're about, really resonate with their own specific journey, really resonate with what it is, or even understand how it is that they can make it through, you're showing a way forwards, right? So with your level of connection, you're connecting that point across by showcasing you, by showing up as you, by even showing up with the journey in mind. So meaning, where were you back in the day? Where were you when you had that same or similar experience? Or maybe as a client that you've actually helped to be able to overcome that experience. At the end of the day, folks, you have to show a way of knowing that you have the tools under your belt in order to be able to overcome, right? So if you are not connecting with your audience by way of resonating, by way of reassuring, or by way of even representing what it is that they're about, you're not going to create that level of brand loyalty that allows you to connect with your audience. Now, this other part, this final thing, in fact, in this particular video, when you are not doing this part, you are going to create your own blocks, simply because you're now creating confusion. And when you create confusion, as we know, people's attentions drop, right? So you want to make sure that you're creating that level of understanding that brings about consistency. Now, consistency. I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, you need to post 10 times a day, or you need to make sure that you at least do a post every single day in order to get the retention or the attention that you're also looking for. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about the level of consistency in how you are showing up. For example, now, depending on when you're actually watching this video, I actually recently got recognized for becoming the brand expert and equally author of the year. And because of that, I actually did do a little questioning, right? I wanted to understand what was their thought process in allowing me to become the winner of this particular recognition. And it was because I showed up consistently as me. Now, showing up consistently as you is something that you also need to be able to do in order to make sure that your values literally helped you to build a brand that people really get to connect with and equally start believing in. When you are being consistent with showing up with your values, when you are being consistent with the way that you are presenting yourself or talking about what it is that you do by way of your values, you're going to start building on that brand loyalty, where people then get to understand that, you know what, this is the person I want to keep following. This is the person I want to make sure that really, really helps me with the problem that I have. And I know that they can help me. And I see them being the right fit for helping me. And it's that last bit right there, folks. Being the right fit for that person's help is something that you always want to make sure that you are creating that space for, especially when it comes with the idea of brand loyalty, and especially when it comes with knowing how you share your values through your brand so that others can start believing in it. So, how this all ties in with you. You want to make sure that not only are you walking the walk, you want to make sure that you're not only creating that level of connection, you're also creating that level of consistency that allows you to show up as you specifically. And what that looks like is you resonating with your value of freedom, for example, showcasing yourself on socials, perhaps, maybe it's in that kind of a way, or even talking about it, for example, in a live and in-person event. Maybe you're sharing the idea of, do you know what, with the freedom in mind that I know that I have and believe in, and I share that with my value. This is what I know, that with the way that I actually help people, you can also be free with your time. You can also be free with the things that you really want to be doing, not having to worry about what's coming up next. It's having that level of peace of mind. How are you showcasing your values? For me, I showcase my values by way of creativity. Creativity is a big one for me. For me also, openness, having the ideas, just to even be open as the slightest possibility as to how this could potentially work for you. Now, openness is a huge one for me. What is it for you? Think about what your values are. Tap back into your brand power of 3. Remember, that will help you to create the foundation of your brand so that everything, especially brand loyalty, especially creating your brand message, especially when it comes to resonating, connecting, and equally walking the walk and understanding how to even do that. This is where it all makes sense, and this is how it all comes together. So, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that this video resonated with you. Please share your comments in the description box below. And whilst you're in the description box below, make sure you go ahead and click on that first link. So here's what's going to happen when you do that. When you do that, you're going to click on that first link, and yes, you will get asked for a few details. However, what next is going to happen is me sending you some information to be able to make sure that you now continuously level up within your brand, show up with your values more specifically in a way that allows you to create your brand that people start believing in. So click on that link below within the description box, fill in your details, and equally allow me to send you this clear-cut information that will allow you to then start leveling up even more so. And folks, I will see you on the other side.